goes far and wide. We'll learn along as we break it all down. Marissa, Looney, Joseph, and Ryan, the best hosts in town.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Podcast The Sequel, where we discuss the good, the bad, and the continued. I'm Manira.
I'm Joseph.
I'm Ryan.
And I'm Marissa.
And with it still being May, we are going to be continuing our Star Wars month. So last week we talked about episodes 1 and 2. So if you would like to hear our reviews of episodes 1 and 2, watch last week's episode. And today we are going to be talking about Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Now before we get into it, Joseph, would you like to give us the budget?
Yeah, $113 million budget and made $902.5 in the box office with a cinema score of an A-. So if you're keeping track, Phantom Menace, A-, Attack of Clones, A-, Revenge of the Sith, A-.
And this numbers were not with the re-release of...
I actually looked into that. We brought that up the other day because we'll bring it up. We did go watch the re-release of Revenge of the Sith. It is the 20th anniversary of said movie. They do add the re-release numbers to the actual totality of the box office. So that's why it's at 902 now. It was at 880 something originally.
Well, I mean, that's still pretty close.
Yeah. So I think it made like 20 mil with the re-release, which was the second biggest re-release ever. I think just behind Titanic. But yeah, so now it's at $902 million at the box office with the re-release.
There we go.
Yeah.
We saw Hayden.
Hayden? Yeah. I mean, I checked something off my bucket list. I never saw episode 3 in the theaters. For whatever reason, I guess my family was just done watching Star Wars movies in the theaters. Like, we took it episode 1, took it episode 2, 3, bootlegging that bad boy. Couple of failed attempts. One of them wasn't even Star Wars. It was another adult type of movie. And then, after like the 4th try of fucking bootlegs, I finally got to watch.
You got Star Wars from the laundromat?
Yes. Absolutely, yes.
So, when I first watched I think out of all the prequels, Star Wars Episode 3 is my favorite of the prequels. And I think this one makes me appreciate more of Star Wars because I do like the backstory of Anakin. I didn't enjoy learning more about his backstory, but...
Well, it's basically the Shakespearean tragedy becomes reality. You know, they've been plotting to get to that point, and it finally takes place. So it's very... We brought up the religious aspects of the film. Anakin is the fallen angel, the one that was supposed to be the one.
The chosen one?
The chosen one. And we hear it from Obi-Wan at the end, where it's like you're supposed to bring balance to the Force, and Palpatine's, big, grand manipulation plan finally pays through. So...
Yeah, it's the first 2 movies are just setting up that his whole plan, and now it's finally coming to fruition. The genocide and the younglings and
the war has rattled them. The Jedi are no longer the keepers of the peace. They are now weapons of an army. They obviously suspect that Palpatine is fucking around. He's obviously stayed way longer in power than he should be. They then use Anakin to be basically a spy, which we start seeing like how things are. Like, he just starts distrusting the Jedi Council, and fuck, I don't even blame him, man. Like, they're clouded. They've lost the plot. They're just not. They're so like in the dark of everything that's going on. They have their suspicions, but they take so long to act. To when they do act, it's already too fucking late. So like.
Yeah, we meet a couple new players in that too. We got Dooku, Grievous. Very interesting characters, backstories and everything.
Yes,
that are never really gone into.
Yeah, they waited
They're
a
just
fucking
there.
minute to get into Dooku's story. Which you don't know, Dooku was the master of Qui-Gon Jinn. Dooku's master was Yoda. He was one of the first people to say that something's going wrong. Jedi, once again, Council did not want to listen. That's why Dooku returns. So yeah.
Seems like they didn't really learn their lesson.
Yeah, and I think that's a big plot point for Qui-Gon too. That's the reason why he's not on the Council, because like he just disagrees with them. They're just so they bought their own stock and they believed in their own religion to the point where it lost them everything.
Yeah,
and that's a major plot point of this film.
Overall, I like this one. within the prequel universe.
Mm.
I think that this one is very solid.
Mm.
There are some very cringy lines and everything.
Dialogue
Still,
doesn't get better.
Dialogue does not
No.
get better. What did you guys think of seeing this in theaters?
I think I enjoyed watching it with Marissa because, I mean, we both talked about it. We're not that crazy for Star Wars. I enjoy it, but I don't love it. I did enjoy our cringe game that we made for it. I think the wine helped to continue watching the movie. Overall, I thought it was a good experience just getting to watch it with all of you guys as well. I had fun. Marissa?
I've seen it in theaters before, so it was pretty much the same. It was nothing new, just more comfortable seating. This is my second favorite one out of the trilogy. I like the first one better, in my own opinion. The writing is terrible. I specifically wrote down the quote, "You're so beautiful. It's only because I'm so in love." And then the whole "love has blinded you" whole thing. I feel like when this came out, that a lot of people were talking about George Lucas and his directing and writing of his love scenes and how it was pretty much garbage. So I don't know. I hate where Padme's character goes. I understand like how everything flows as a story, but she was just such a strong character in the first one. And then even like in the second one, you see her like fighting, even wanting to be with Anakin. And then just this entire one, she's just completely like dumbstruck in love. And like, she's not even a character anymore. So I don't know. I know the story is not about her, obviously, but I feel like this is where we're kind of like losing characters and building up other characters. Anakin's still super whiny as he is. I feel like Obi-Wan, honestly, in the last 3 isn't as strong as we're meant to believe that he is in 4, 5, and 6 when we get there. Obviously, they made a show about him, so maybe we get a little bit more of his growth there. But I don't know. This one just left me more with a lot of questions than anything. Like, most of my comments are just questions.
What would one of those questions be?
Why is Count Dooku always coughing? Or Grievous.
So Grievous is not like, what do you propose that Grievous is? I guess it would be a better
robot.
question. But he's not.
Mine's an old man.
So he's actually like a warrior on his home planet.
Oh, he looks like a robot.
He does.
Mm-hmm. And then that plays into Dooku, and his whole role in it is he didn't really care about the Jedi fight or anything like that. He cared about his home planet.
Mm-hmm.
And Dooku and Palpatine sort of played him, and basically they wanted to get him as a warrior to help them, and said like, hey, you're gonna run the hugest droid army, and he didn't really care about any of that. He just cared about fighting his own war on his own home planet. And then Palpatine and Dooku, I guess this isn't even really canon, this is like lore from Legends, but they planted a bomb on his aircraft that exploded and left him with just basically his brain from like his head to like his lungs to like major organs, and that was it. So he's like,
Do they explain this in the movie, or
they do not.
So then, interesting of a
They
choice.
assumed that when this film came out, that people were like already watching the Clone Wars, the cartoon.
Okay.
But wasn't really a fact at that point.
Yeah.
Like Clone Wars became bigger
Later on.
way
Yeah.
later on.
I feel like Clone Wars became bigger like 2010 and onwards.
I've never seen Clone Wars, so
I've seen
I
episodes.
would say a little later on. The more that Filoni got involved, the more that started popping off
Yeah.
big time. But they didn't. They expected. That's what they were hoping, that bridge would happen. But nobody was really watching it. Like I saw the Grievous episode, but I didn't think of that either. They didn't get into details of what was Grievous.
Yeah. So they used midichlorian enriched blood to help keep him alive, and then tampered with his brain to make him more subservient to the Sith cause, and then also like project their emotions and things onto him. And then as he went on in their war, killing other Jedis and collecting all their lightsabers, which is why he has multiple green and blue lightsabers. And that's where that comes from.
So you, in order to kind of get that, you would have to watch Clone Wars in order to understand that. So my question, I guess, with that is, how do we feel about that?
I feel like it's kind of a cop-out. Like, you should have included it in your movie in the first place.
Well, especially if you're going to have him be, like, because I
A
mean...
prominent character.
I don't know. Like, I'm torn because I've always projected that, like, if we're watching a movie, it's basically our, like, bird's eye view into a world or, like, a piece of time or somebody's story or whatever it is. So, like, we shouldn't have to have all this exposition basically blasted onto us in order to understand what's going on. We should be able to just figure it out through storytelling, or it should be something that's obvious where, like, it doesn't need to be said, told, explained, whatever have you. So, but at the same time, like, there's just so many other pieces to Star Wars, and I know that it's an entire universe that you're building, and you're trying to break it up into 6 to 9 different movies, and then you have spin-offs, and there's so many other things, like, you kind of almost have to explain. But I don't know, that's why I'm kind of like, I'm up and down.
Yeah, I would agree, because, like, within the movie, the only thing you really see is in the third one, where Obi-Wan kind of pulls the mechanisms away from him, his like chest plate, and you can see that there's organs in there, so you know he's not a droid, he's a cyborg.
Yeah.
And within the Star Wars universe, everything has a backstory. Like, literally everything there's a backstory, and it's shit that doesn't even matter, that you would never know. It's just to make it feel like a more lived in world. Yeah, that's just George Lucas's way of doing it,
which I appreciate, like, because then you can open it up and, like, you can do more storytelling, and then, like, even, like, as things as basic as Disneyland, like, creating that world and have people who really love this franchise kind of be more immersed in it. Like, I appreciate that, but at the same time, like, as someone coming in who, like, doesn't really know a lot about Star Wars, like, at this point, I feel like it's, like, in my brain, there's just so much that I wouldn't even know where to begin. 100%. Like, I almost, like, sink it to the level of, like, it's almost like being, like, a wine sommelier. Like, you're just, like, there's always stuff that's, like, changing and happening, and new strands are being, like, you know, there's always just so much happening that, like, you could never be, like, I'm fully, like, I'm a Star Wars expert, and I know all of the characters and all the things, because there's just so much. And maybe there's people out there who are and claim to be, and that's totally fine, but I don't know. I have so many questions, and then I was just disappointed with certain characters, and then I feel like even, like, Count Dooku, whatever his fucking name is, like, I don't even know, was he even purposeful in this?
Where did he come from?
Where did he come from? And then
too.
He's just dead now, and, like, so I don't know.
Yeah, we kind of get into when he captures Obi-Wan, and he's kind of like, he's Palpatine's new apprentice, but we don't get the backstory of, like, how he. But we kind of get, like, a little Easter egg where he's like, oh yeah, my once apprentice when Yoda's fighting him, but we don't get much after that. And then his death is basically just a script point for Anakin to be the new apprentice for Palpatine. And I think Grievous as well is another script. Like, I don't want that deficit where it's just like, we need somewhere to take Obi-Wan to. So he's not attached to Anakin in this scenery. So let's write this in just to have Obi-Wan go on this fucking mission to do this.
It's like a wild goose chase.
Exactly.
Just kind of.
And
just
that's
to have that.
I also too have such a problem with, like, 2 and 3, because I feel like you could have easily mished them together and had one solid movie. Like, yeah, maybe it would have been, like, a fucking 3-hour movie, but, like, I feel like we would have had so much more, like, accomplished in, like, such a matter of time, because, like, obviously Anakin could have been away with Padme, and that would have separated him and Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan would have been doing his, like, detective work wherever he was, and then he could have fallen into Dooku or whatever his name is. Is that right? Am I even saying that?
Dooku.
It's the same thing. And I don't know.
No, it's fine. People in the comments will just not say anything like they normally do anyway, but maybe for this they'll be like, it's Count Dooku.
Come for me. It's fine.
He's a count because he owns real estate on
But when we get into Lord of the Rings, I swear to God.
He's a count. Yeah, I agree with that. I think George just expected people just to be like, they know. And it's like, well, do they? I'm like,
I almost feel too like he kind of falls into that Batman realm where
Yep.
you got to sell toys,
Yep.
and you end up being like, okay,
Well, yeah, he has the merchandising rights.
Mhm.
yes, so we have this cool character.
Mhm.
I made a backstory on him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
For some reason, it just reminded me of like, I forgot what episode it is, but it's Family Guy, and they're talking about like Stephen King, and they're just like, oh, what do you have now? And he's just like, oh, it's like a scary like toaster monster, and it rah, 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 rah. And then he's just like, oh my god,
How soon can we get
when
it?
can I have
We're
it?
gonna have it.
Like it's the same thing with George Lucas. It's like I developed this character, and when can I have it?
Yeah.
He's got 4 arms,
Yeah.
and he's half robot, half human. But what does he have to? Doesn't matter, man.
He's got
Like,
4.
you know how many people are gonna fucking love it when all his 4 arms come out with different lightsabers?
Yeah, that was very silly
All the
too.
toys.
When it's like the cloak comes off and he's like, immediately in a little. Because technically he is sort of a bug.
Yes.
That's what he
yeah.
reminds
He
me of,
lives
like an
on a
old
planet where
bug.
the
Yeah, even
other
when he's just
people
like-
are-
There's a
Like-
It's like a little spider.
Yeah.
also a super super old cartoon. If I can find it, I would love to pull up the clip. I want to say it's like Looney Tune-esque time. It's like 30s, 40s or something like that, and I don't think it's in black and white, but it's like it's like a detective story, but it's with all of the characters that are inside your refrigerator. And it's literally like they're trying to, like, the cheese is like the police officer, and he's trying to find, like, it's all these different like things, and they're trying to find out who like killed one of the other like produce or something like that. And then it's this creature that's like slinking around, and that's what it reminds me of. And we find out that it's actually just a bunch of mice stacked up underneath like a coat.
Yes, okay,
And it
I
has
do
like a
vaguely
little,
remember that.
I was like, I'll
I
have
want
to
to say
find it.
it wasn't it might have been a Mary Medley's. kind
Yeah,
of
like
thing.
yeah, that's what it is. But it's like that's what every time I see him like slink and he's like, that's what it reminds me of.
We did laugh really hard every time he was like,
It's just like, why?
and then to find out that it's just George Lucas.
Just because he had like bronchitis or something
and
for a
then
week, and
for
they just
some
record him
reason they
coughing.
just were recording him coughing,
And they used that for Grievous's cough. It's just George. Just,
George,
no.
if you
Yeah.
ever see this, I would love to have
You
lunch
won't.
with you.
You won't.
But I
I would love to have lunch with you and just talk to you about just your madness, insanity.
I have a question that popped up while we were watching this movie.
Mm.
So, we find out that Padme is pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Does nobody question who the former Queen of Naboo's father of her children are? Because it's never mentioned. You kind of just see her getting bigger as the scenes come in when you see her there. Nobody questions it. She's obviously, to everyone's knowledge, not married.
She's past 25. Leo doesn't care about her anymore.
Mm.
That's true.
They know. Some people know. Like, obviously Palpatine knows because he's.
He's been playing.
Well, he like
Yeah.
plays him in that.
Yes,
Yeah.
he plays
that
them. And
way.
he plays
Yeah.
that card.
You
Yeah.
should take her to the Sizzler and wine and dine her.
Yeah, because one of the questions that I asked Marissa is like in the beginning of the movie is you see when Anakin and Padme, you see them in the very beginning of the movie. They all kind of go off and he like runs off to the corner to be with her, and it's they're not hiding well in public, and there's just like people in the background just like passing by. It's like, does nobody know?
Well, they're also like living together too,
Yeah.
so it's like, what do they not just notice? Like, has Obi-Wan never been like, "Hey, you want to get a beer at your place after work?"
No.
No, I'll come to yours.
No, I'll come to
And,
you.
like-
Do we meet at the bar?
And he knows that he lives there too, because there's that one scene where she talks to Anakin. He's like, Obi-Wan came to visit. He's worried about you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Obi-Wan
So it's like-
can sense
yeah.
the Force, but he can't sense
Yeah.
That
what
was
this
something that I
relationship
would've
is.
That was
happening.
my continuing
Yeah.
question. Follow-up question to that. If they can sense things, did nobody sense them together? The father of her child?
Obi-Wan sniffed it out. He was like, "Are you
He
pregnant?"
did. And then when she didn't give him the answer, it's the father, isn't he?
And then she just got quiet. Oh
Well,
no.
Palpatine doesn't want them to know either.
Yeah,
He
there-
needs that to happen for the
Yeah.
events to occur. So he's clouded the Jedi to the point where they
Oh,
can't.
I think they do say
see-
something.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he's manipulated that.
clouded or whatever.
Yeah.
But there is another scene too where like he has a nightmare and he like wakes up and it's like they're obviously like in bed together.
Yes.
And it's like, well then who's watching?
Because she's the queen. She was the queen.
but she has like help
just
and
a son.
security and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
Like
she's
they all fucking know. They're like,
Well, yeah, like everyone knows. And then I feel like also I associate C-3PO's character as someone who's very by the book, follows the rules and everything. Why is he keeping their secret? I feel like
he's not going to go against his creator. He's not by the book. He's not going to go against his
No,
creator.
yeah, I don't think-
Anakin's
yeah.
his
I feel
creator.
like I don't know. I would just
creator.
assume him as like
C-3PO I see as just like a bumbling buffoon
Yes.
who's like,
Yes.
oops, I accidentally spilled the
Yes.
secret. Like,
Three-
oh no.
and I think
3PO and R2 would never do that. That's not. They would not be like, oh, Master Kenobi, Anakin has been laying the dick, and she is expecting a child.
He's been.
He's not going to do
I don't
that.
know, I
It's
feel
not.
like-
3PO is never going to do
I
that.
feel like in my head, C-3PO is this guy who wants to follows the rules, maybe wants to try and follow the
No.
rule.
He's never been like
has
that.
a love-hate relationship with R2-D2, and maybe this is because I've done the Star Tours ride so many times.
They're like the Bert and Ernie
Yes.
of
Yeah.
Star Wars.
That's C-3PO's like annoyance is that he's so loyal to who he's with that he just has these blumbering advices that are just like just get away, like just stop. That he's not gonna fucking tell anybody. He knows Anakin created him. And he knows that he's taking care of Padme. Like that's the whole point. He would never do that in any junction of Star Wars. That's
We
not
had an
3PO.
extension too. He'll
Yeah.
take care of Padme because of Anakin.
Yes,
That's true.
that's the deal. He takes care of.
What happened? Oh my
I
god.
see it. Yeah.
Grab it.
I can't see it.
It's right
It's right in front of Ryan.
It's by your toes.
Oh, it's by your toes. It smells the stink.
No, that's the OnlyFans content right there.
No, yeah, that's the deal. 3PO takes
No,
care
we'll
of
get
Padme. R2 goes on Anakin's adventures and stuff.
Did
Yeah.
Anakin yes, Anakin. Did Anakin create R2-D2?
No,
too?
R2D2 came out on that Naboo ship when that Naboo, now we're going back to one. It just came
I
out.
was just
That's why they
curious.
were like loyal to R2.
Okay,
That's
moving on.
Yes, that's the
Um,
trade-off.
I'm glad we brought out the nightmare scene though, because that was another one of my questions.
Is it her outfit?
How the hell does she sleep in these pearls with that hair clip and like it's so it seems so uncomfortable. Natalie Portman, tell me.
I don't even like. I like sleeping with my hair up, but like it has to either be a very low ponytail or bun or a really high one. I can't even sleep with it like a half ponytail, whatever it is. I find it very annoying for her to sleep with crown clothing and also
All the necklaces,
and
then
like the big
beads
poofy
and-
hair with like the curls and everything. Like there's no way. I wake up with like my hair like in a mess every morning.
That and it just gets worse because you're pregnant and you can't like get comfortable. So I'm like, how is this girl getting such
That and
beauty sleep? Because she's so in love.
I feel like with the pearl sleeve, off the shoulder sleeve she has going on, like I move a lot in my sleeve, so I feel like I would just turn and just be like and just rip all the pearls.
yeah, there'd be
off.
beads everywhere.
Yeah.
You wake up and be like, oh my god.
Just the clinking and jangling of all the.
Just like-
the
It was
beads and
okay.
shit.
I don't mind it because it could be cute as like a dress that you're wearing to like a dinner party. I don't know, space wear, and that would be fine. But sleeping in it and just like the rolling of the, I just would dig.
Or just like
in.
imagine if like somebody's like sleeping next to you and you're just like
yeah. Can you
rubbing
imagine
against
if I
it?
had pearls and I was just like,
I'm pretty
rubbing
sure Normal and Figgy would enjoy it. They would just play with it.
oh yeah, see, and that even worse. The cats would just be like,
Just eating it all night.
yeah, they go after your little There's a moment in this movie where Anakin gets really upset with Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan is like, hey, you're really cool friends with Palpatine, or not, he's not Palpatine, but he is Palpatine. And like, we want you to spy on him or whatever. And he's like, what? That's not the Jedi way. That's I can't believe you would ask me to do that. Yet he's willing to break the rules to fall in love and be with Padme? That's cool?
Only when it's convenient to him.
Yeah. I'm just, throwing that out there. That's kind of
Yeah.
a dick.
From my point of view,
Dick move.
the Jedi are evil.
Also, is the Jedi like the Night's Watch where like they can't like sleep with women, but like or
Yes.
like they can't marry women, but they can sleep with women.
Well, I mean, if you go, yes.
Like they can't father children, but
Yeah.
can get it in.
They can sling that saber.
and if that's the case, who's Obi-Wan sleeping with?
Ahsoka.
It's Jar Jar Binks.
Is it really Ahsoka?
No, they have like a
Sick.
thing.
Flirtatious?
Flirtation, but
Yeah.
nothing that's ever
I
acted
hate
upon.
because it's
but-
like Clone Wars. He had a girl,
Clone Wars,
and Darth
yeah.
Maul killed her spoilers. But
Oh yeah, that's right.
yeah,
That's
Darth
right.
Maul
Sorry,
kills
my
Ahsoka?
mistake.
No,
Ahsoka.
Obi-Wan has
That's my
a
mistake.
love
I was thinking
interest
of
in the
someone
Clone
else.
Wars
yeah.
cartoon
Ahsoka.
and
Yeah, Ahsoka is
Rebels.
Anakin's Padawan. Obi-Wan falls in love with the queen of Mandalore. Darth Maul takes over Mandalore. He kills her in front of Obi-Wan. That was Obi-Wan's love interest. But again, that's still animated. You have to like, it's the avenues that George and Filoni have now created, or just like you got to go here to get to here and to go to there to get down there, and it's just this whole web of stuff.
Did the Clone Wars cartoon come out while the prequels were going, or did they come out after the prequels?
No, there were, in between there was the little mini Clone Wars shorts that were like 10 minutes long on Cartoon Network, and then that went into a whole ass series. Yeah. So it's always been around, but it just wasn't as important until certain people got involved, and then it became more significant because they brought in other characters that we would have thought were gone. But you know, the rule of Star Wars, you get sliced by a lightsaber and you can still come back.
In
Force
half?
Ghosts.
What's
You get burnt to a crisp and still be like,
What's the bubble show that they're watching?
Oh,
The
that was
space
my
opera
question.
that they
space
did?
opera. No.
Is it a space opera? But is it not weird that we're watching a space opera watching a space opera?
A space operaception?
Damn it.
You're so welcome.
And also, is there something in the bubbles or is it just bubbles?
There's
No,
like
there's-
light reflection.
There's like things flying
In-
around.
yeah.
Am I not smart
around
enough
the
to
bubbles.
understand?
light and sound. Something about the sound of music. I don't know.
Because I'm like imagining it as like one of my like meditations where I'm just kind of like, sleepy.
I am sure that there is a full version of that space opera out there because
sure.
somebody animated it. So they need to make it a
Nerds.
full length so they can cut in the parts that they want to keep and talk about. I always think of that music though, where it's just like, it's like,
And that scene's only specific to here about Darth Plagueis the Wise. So that way he could be like, to save the one you love. Just so he could finally be like, oh, so you can learn these powers? Not by a Jedi. And that's how we get to that point.
Yeah.
That's how he gets him.
Save someone I love. I'm having visions of losing someone I
find-
love.
Because he goes to Yoda and Yoda's just like, you have to let go. Whereas Palpatine's like, I can save her.
Because, well, that's the thing, though, is
Yeah.
if he did, everything would have been fine.
Yep.
If he just would have let it go and be like, it is what it is. But no, he kept
Yeah, he kept.
getting in there in his ear. And
Ultimate
then never
power.
tells him how to do it. Because no one knows
He
how
doesn't
to do
even know. Once he turns, he's like, I want to learn. And he's like, well, I'm sure between the both of us, we will learn to grasp this power. And it's like, why the fuck did I do any of this then, motherfucker?
Well,
Like,
see, if somebody would have said that to me, I would have killed him right then and there and been like, you promised me.
yeah.
Even though he didn't. But
But you alluded to the fact that we could
Yeah.
learn this power. And now that I've
he left breadcrumbs.
changed my life and I've turned and I've gone against the Jedi Order, now you're telling me that, well, we could learn it eventually, bro. I don't have eventually. She's pregnant now. Like, we have up until this time where she's going to have these babies, and I got to figure it out. Now you're telling me that together we'll figure it out? Like, hell no. He should have. And then he kind of does come to that realization when he's in Mustafar, when he tells her, like, I could take out the Chancellor. Then me and you could rule the galaxy just how we wanted, however we want to. And that's where he's just full Sith.
That's when he became Hitler.
Basically, I mean, he's talking about sort of the same things. Because there is a weird, like, civil war going on with separatists and all that kind of jazz, and they use the same terminology. And then when he's like, well, what if one person just said everything that, like, basically a dictator? Oh, that wouldn't be democracy.
Did
Yeah,
you say that in
sure.
the second one?
Yeah. But it's sort of like he has skewed visions of what he thinks galactic empire should be. Yeah.
I do love it when Padme does come to him to Mustafar and they're having that conversation. It's cringy as shit. But just fucking Obi-Wan on this shit, just like
Oh, you mean like
sassy motherfucker.
Yeah, just like, it's
Wait,
Padme, it's
dude.
time to go.
Yeah, it's like
his legs popped
just,
out?
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude,
he was
just
kinda like-
he was just like a unit, like just
That, like,
waiting
just
for
tapping
him
his
to like,
foot.
Yeah.
yeah.
You're with him.
Yeah.
You're fucking Billy Baldwin. I did think that was funny too. Like that's he's like, what are you talking? I've been gone for like months,
months, yeah,
months
what the
on
fuck? Yeah.
riding a lizard around.
They literally told you
Oh,
the day
I
before you
love
turned.
that scene where he's riding the lizard around. I don't know why, but
Oh.
Can't
The
even-
way it slides down when
Yeah.
it's chasing Grievous, I'm
so
like,
wait,
fuck
did
yeah.
it die?
Yes.
Oh.
I don't know.
I
Does
think it
anyone die
probably-
in Star Wars?
No. They fell
No,
in
they
water.
It became one. Oh my
Well,
god! I
you
just
never saw him
imagine
come up.
at the end when you see like all the Force ghosts or whatever, and it's just the lizard next to him. Just,
That's right, Gary.
somebody do that for me,
That was yours. Like, I'm gonna teach you to see Qui-Gon
Pretty sure
and
it
that
exists.
lizard.
Put it on ChatGPT, they'll do it for you.
please. Chat whatever
GBT.
whatever you are. Can't even say it.
There's a line too in Mustafar where he's like, "If you're not with me, then you are my enemy." And I found out George wrote that because of George Bush's statement during 9/11, where it's like, "If you're not with us, then you are against us." And that's literally what he took.
You can't say against it. Oh, yeah, but why couldn't you? It's just not flowing.
He had to fucking do his little. But he was literally like, "I
If you're
took
not
that
with
from
me,
Bush."
then you're my enemy.
Yeah.
Why couldn't he just say, if you're not with me, then you're against me? That's
Only
such a more
Sith
powerful,
deals in
absolutes.
absolutes.
such a more
Yeah.
powerful
hmm
statement.
But it just made me laugh, feeling like, really, dude? That's what you were like. 9/11 towers fell.
Well,
All
I
right,
mean-
George. Thank you for the new quote for Star Wars.
From
episode
one
3.
George to another.
Yeah.
No,
Oh.
yeah. Hmm.
Damn.
Damn.
I mean, Alex Jones talking about it. He has like the perfect breakdown of all
Oh,
the movies.
Palpatine was a senator, a little senator from the Boo.
Yeah, and it's very like of the times politically what was
Yeah.
like kind of happening and fears and everything like that. Draw from real life.
No.
I feel like even like watching like all the prequels, very much relatable to what is happening currently in our
Well,
modern day
yeah.
times.
Tariffs, Naboo.
Gotta
Trade
love
federations.
I mean, you are going down a path I can't follow.
Yeah. That was a great line too.
Yeah.
You're going down a path I can.
Oh, the best one is the younglings though. Like even Ewan McGregor couldn't hold that shit in.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's why he covers his mouth
Mm.
because he's like, I can't say this. Like, why do they call them younglings? Why not children? Why not?
Yeah,
youths?
younglings always rubbed me the wrong way.
They do say children.
Yeah, but not during then. Why didn't?
No, yeah,
why
just when
did I
he
say
when he
then?
kills the women and the children in the Tusken Raider camp,
Mm-hmm.
but yet Jedi's are younglings. That might just be some of their
Maybe that's a
heritage.
Jedi
Yeah.
Terminology.
Sophisticated
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, some fun cameos in this as well.
Yes.
Jar Jar. I know.
Yeah, Jar
I
Jar.
wanted more
Jar
Jar
Jar.
Jar.
He did enough.
Also,
Needed more.
both of his kids are in this, as well as
Yes.
Jar Jar's?
Lucas.
Lucas's kids.
George Lucas.
George is one of
Jar
them.
Jar has
Is
kids?
the young
And
Padawan that's attacking the stormtroopers when
Who protects Organa.
Organa,
when he
yeah.
shows
Oh, the
up.
little
That's
kids.
his son.
His son.
Yeah.
And then the blue chick
is his daughter.
that's just kind of standing in the background all the time is his daughter.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then when they're at the space opera, the blue chick and is talking to some guy, and it's
Mhm.
her and George Lucas
George
talking.
Lucas.
Why does the one kid protect Organa when he's leaving? Are they trying to get Organa?
They were actually, they told him to like get out of here, like you don't want to see none of this, but he was staying too long, so they would have popped him.
Oh, okay.
But he was already fighting his way through, and he just kind of showed up where they were.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then he knew the jig was up. He wasn't necessarily protecting him, but like they were gonna open fire on all of them.
Oh, okay. I really like that actor though. He's in a lot of like my shows.
Yeah, the guy from
Dexter,
Dexter,
he's
yeah.
from Sons of Anarchy. There's another one that he's in too. But those are my main two that I'm like, got you. You're a little bitch in both of them. But it's okay.
he's a little bitch in this too.
Dude,
to
he's
be
such a
honest.
whiny little bitch in Dexter, like towards the end. But if you've seen Dexter, let me know.
We laughed too when he was like, "Well, me and my wife always
Well,
talked about
a
adopting
daughter.
a
Yeah.
daughter." Well, what will the boy do? I don't care. I don't want him.
I want the
Send
girl.
him to
I
that
just want the
sand
girl.
ghetto. You'll be fine there.
Why do you want a girl so bad, man?
We'll take her, make her a princess. The
They like the
boy,
younglings.
send him away.
I don't care.
I don't care about
I just like that she probably had this like really lush lifestyle, which obviously we see. And then like Luke, who's just kind of like, there's 2 moons and no women. What else am I supposed to do?
But goddamn, I got this blue milk.
I mean, and it's funny too because like in New Hope, you kind of there was to be more of what the life was like for Luke, and it
Shitty,
was well,
dirty.
it was that, but there was more of like his friends and things like that, and then
Greedo?
they got rid of it because it was too much like American Graffiti in space.
Oh, okay.
But
Just everything is just this in space, though.
Yeah. But I was gonna pick up some power converters from Tashi Station.
The way he says the line, dude, it's just like,
So
oh god, you
whiny.
bitchy whine.
Yeah.
Like father, like son.
Yeah.
God
I know.
damn.
He gets the wine from
Yeah.
his dad.
Whereas like Leia's like fighting the war and shit, doing the thing. We also see the Millennium Falcon in
Yes.
episode 3. Yeah.
In the spaceport when they're like coming in to get rid of Anakin and what's her nose? Or right
that's
at
when
the,
Obi-Wan-
right at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you're right.
Did I fucking miss that?
Yeah.
We
when
were too busy
when
complaining.
Padme's ship is coming down in the city right before it blows up,
Mm.
Uh-huh.
You
in
see
the very
Falcon
bottom
just-
corner of the screen, there's like a
in like the
Millennium
very,
Falcon
very
just kind of
open.
cruising
Yeah.
in
Okay,
the
yeah,
background.
yeah.
Only people like Joseph.
Well, it's
and
also very
Ryan
foggy
notice.
in that scene.
Indeed.
I will say the one thing that I noticed this time watching episode 3 that I haven't noticed before is this is technically the first time we see Chewbacca in if you're watching in chronological order. I never realized that that's Chewbacca. the
Goodbye,
entire time.
Chewbacca.
Until he said it, I was like, oh my god, that's been Chewie this entire time?
Yeah, they
no
just
idea.
Throwing a little, so you go.
Oh, a little fan,
Yeah.
little fan
Little-
service
yeah,
just
yeah,
at the
little-
end. Let's play Yoda's theme and then say goodbye, Chewbacca, and then take off.
So
Yeah,
they're-
they'll put more fan service stuff later on. The fans will love that.
Mm.
So I'm told.
I think the one character I really did not care for this movie, and I want to know if you guys cared for him or did not. I really don't care for Mace Windu. I understand the importance of Mace Windu, in specifically in the one scene with Emperor Palpatine in this movie. However, I really don't care for Mace Windu at all in the entire
Yeah.
and everything, especially in this movie. I was like, can you just get off the fucking screen? I love you,
Racism.
Samuel L. Jackson, but in other things, but not.
I wish that he was whooping more ass.
Yeah, I feel like that's what
Throughout.
I needed more from him. I feel like mainly especially in this one, he's just sitting down. The answer is no, Anakin. Whatever Anakin wants to do, no, 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 no.
I don't
he
trust the boy.
Did he really not do a whole lot?
I feel like you just see him.
He kind of fought in 2 when everybody else was fighting in 2, but like,
But you never just see him like having like his.
It's a lot of
solo-
sitting and judging from Mace Windu.
all right, perfect. We'll give him a spin-off.
Because technically, isn't he like the head of the council?
I
Or
thought
are they
Yoda
all
was.
the head of the council.
I wanna
think
say-
it's a
I
group,
feel like
right?
the Jedi way
They
is for
are
all
a
of them to
council.
have equal.
Yoda's the main. I want
They're
to
the
say if
masters.
you want to go by order, he would probably be second in the lead behind
Yeah,
Yoda.
yeah.
Yoda's number 1.
I feel like even like his battle scene with Emperor Palpatine he didn't really do much. It was just like,
I mean, he scarred him.
I mean, yeah. and
I
it's
mean, did he
also-
scar him or did Palpatine scar himself when he did that?
Well, yeah, but Mace Windu blocked it and fucking shot it back. He cooked them. He cooked them.
With the lightsaber? Or
He reflected the lightning back into to Palpatine.
That was my next question: is how the hell did he become so
That's
Well,
how.
ugly?
That's how,
That's how.
because the
Thank you,
yeah,
Joseph.
The lightning
it reflected
sucked all the-
back and
yeah.
just burnt him. You know,
I was too distracted by that. Thank you,
His
Justin.
him and
ultimate
Anakin
power.
are two burnt, crispy dudes just trying to rule the galaxy.
What's with the thing with people getting their hands chopped off?
It's just
It is. It's
a
just
Star
a
Wars
thing,
thing.
throughout
Yeah.
Star Wars. Yeah.
I feel like there's, and I'm definitely sure that it's out there somewhere, but like obviously we get a lot of biblical references in Star Wars. I feel like there's something that you can take from that in the hand and everything like that. Like I want to say very like Adam and Eve, like when Eve reached for the apple, cutting the hand off is basically denying,
They cut her hand
grasping. No,
it was,
but
but she,
but
the
it's-
moment she,
the moment she
yeah.
went to grab the apple, took the apple, it's there's like it's very parallel of like, well, if we cut the hand off, there's no way to reach for the apple.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like, okay, it's not a perfect allegory, just work with me.
I get where your head's at.
Yeah.
I get where
Yeah.
you're going. Yeah.
I'm also not like super into like all of the Bible stories.
Yeah.
I don't know all this stuff. Joseph, help me out. But you know.
that the sin is her reaching for that, and
so
that's the
therefore,
hand
like,
loss.
yeah,
is
like
just,
Anakin is
Cut the hand that feeds you.
is he's theoretically like reaching for something he shouldn't be having. So they're cutting off his hand. I mean, obviously he's getting a mechanical hand, so then he can still go and do the bad things that he's doing. But there's something very like religiously
yeah. And it takes place a lot in this one too. Like Anakin burning is like when Lucifer tried to take over. When Lucifer tried to take over heaven and God threw him to hell. It's Anakin, the chosen one, failing the Jedi, and Obi-Wan burning him.
Yeah, and then Obi-Wan chopping off his legs is very much the wings being cut off kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is like, I have the high ground. Heaven. Don't do
hell.
it.
Yeah.
Try to do the fucking same thing. And the reason why he jumps is because what Obi-Wan did in Phantom with the Darth Maul. So, again, literature and shit like that in the Star Wars universe, Anakin, when he was training, tried to mimic that fight every single time. So that's why when he saw Obi-Wan standing there, he was like, I could do the flip and get him the same way he killed Maul. But Obi-Wan was like, I know what you're going to do. That's why he's like, don't do it. Don't let your greed and your ego make me cut you down. He cuts him down like he cuts Lucifer's wings. He goes down, the fire hits him, he burns.
I would have thought. I get to talk about Star Wars and learn about religion at the same
That's
time.
what George was aiming for.
That's what
he
we're
is
here
the
for.
chosen one. He is the fallen angel. That is what Anakin Skywalker's arc is.
Space Jesus.
Space Jesus.
Space Jesus.
And Obi-Wan had to fight his brother,
I
which
don't know
is
why I just
very
heard like
biblical.
the Batman in my head. Like,
The-
it's just him with
Space
like
Jesus.
lightsabers.
Jesus.
I don't know why I heard that.
I never equated religion with Star Wars, so it's an interesting perspective.
I love those types of.
Yeah, it is kind of a very apparent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have never even thought to.
I think
Go the
that's
religious
that's why
route.
I've always loved this movie more so than like 1 and 2 because of that arc of Anakin's, falling.
Yeah.
Because he got pretty much tricked into it, and like Padme didn't die. She did die from a broken heart, but also people don't realize Palpatine took her life. He drained her life to put it into Anakin so he could survive. So he could then be like, "Oh, I killed her," and then you get.
Yeah, because
The
he does
full
say that.
Sith.
No, you.
How did he
killed
drain her life source?
It's just something he could fucking do. It's just some power he has that he could drain the life.
I mean, he
of
created
her
life.
and transfer
See,
it.
I want more of that.
Yes.
I want to know more about that because that's confusing, and
He
I would
can't-
and I've seen this movie so many times that I would have never
Yeah.
linked.
He can't
that
revive
together.
anybody. You could drain the life of certain individuals. He could do that, and that's why he knew he couldn't have Padme live. There's no way he can keep Padme alive and keep Anakin.
Yeah.
Anakin was always going to pick Padme. He needed her dead. It wasn't going to be a he barely choked her, and she wasn't going to die from a broken heart. That's what they allude to. But Palpatine needed her to die
She lost the will
to live because Palpatine was draining the life from her to put back into Anakin so he could live because he was fucking cooked already. Obviously, no pun intended.
Burnt to a crisp.
That is why it's happening simultaneously.
And so when he's freaking the fuck, that's why at the same time her death is Vader's rising. And so when he freaks out and he does that cringy ass no, and he's just in the background smiling, the plan has worked. And I showed you that the other day when episode 1, when they're doing the Qui-Gon funeral, it's Anakin, Obi-Wan, Padme, Palpatine. The last shot we see of Vader is just Vader, Palpatine. Obi-Wan's God, Padme's dead. Palpatine won. So that's like deep shit where it's just like, fuck yeah, dude. I'm like, there's some things George wrote wrong, but there's certain things where I'm like, oh, you motherfucker. I'm like, shit like that gets me.
And there's a lot of like life and death and like birth and rebirth. And, like as the babies are being born, so is Darth Vader.
Yes.
Only life can
Yes.
pay for death.
And that's the balance.
not
Vader,
moral.
Palpatine.
No, that's Game of Thrones again.
Oh, it is.
You have the balance of Vader, Palpatine, Luke, and Leia.
Mhm.
That's the balance of the Force there.
Because Luke is evil and Leia is twins. Basil.
Twins. Did you have any other questions?
I
I know that you
wondering
said that
what
you
you
had a
said.
couple.
I mean, I'm sure I would have had further, but I didn't. I realized too when I was writing all of this down that obviously this episode we've touched upon it, but like I don't even think in the first when we talked about episode 2, I don't think we even talked about George Lucas at all.
Yeah, I was gonna ask.
Like we didn't even mention the fact that like he's the guy, he's the Star Wars guy. Like you don't know, you pretty much like without Star Wars, George Lucas is a nobody. I mean, he is somebody, but like this is his thing. This is like his magnum opus.
Well, because so George Lucas and Steven Spielberg, and there's another one.
And Yoda got
Because
together
that's
and they
the
wanted to make a
DreamWorks
movie.
thing is like Spielberg,
George.
it's like something I don't remember. Doesn't matter.
George helped with the Indiana Jones stuff.
Toby Hooper.
Probably.
I know Toby Hooper works with
Francis Ford Coppola. I don't know.
No.
I'm just going on.
They're friends, but not.
No, they're the DreamWorks. There's like
I was like, I would just go to Star Wars Episode 4 and then check that out.
But yes, like he it is his brainchild, and he had plans for where he wanted the series to go.
Mm-hmm.
That's DreamWorks.
He had a 789.
Mm-hmm.
He had a whole thing like ready to roll. Like he had, like we said, the Star Wars Bible of how it was supposed to fucking go. And obviously, when you sell it for the amount of money you sold it for, you kind of lose that.
Yeah.
What do you sell
Power.
it for? Like $4 billion or some shit?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bunch.
And obviously, even if he came to Disney and was like, I want this, I'm gonna be like, well, we already own it, so.
Yeah, we're gonna do what we want. Mickey
Yeah.
Mouse is now
Mm.
fighting the bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, since we brought up George Lucas,
Mm-hmm.
this might be a dumb question for me, but I've only seen movies that he's done is Star Wars. Has he done anything else? I'm pretty sure the answer is yes, but is it anything that I
Yes.
would know?
Yes, he was
Oh.
in Hook.
Yes.
He was?
Yes, he was.
Him and Carrie Fisher.
Him and Carrie
making
Fisher
out,
making
or
out in the
they're
park.
Yeah.
The people
Yes.
making out.
Because they dated, slept together. I want to say they
Interesting.
dated. I want to say they dated.
Hold on, let me
I know
Wikipedia this
Harrison
shit.
did that. That's for sure, yeah. Ford got with her. That was in her book.
Carrie Fisher.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
sad.
That was in her book while he was married. That's in her book, being like,
Dang!
yeah, that's.
Wait,
that's,
to Callista?
That's out there. I don't know who was married, but that's out there. Like, he did get with
That
him.
might have been.
No, that was
before
probably
Callista
before
Flockhart.
Callista.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
She probably
married
wasn't
Mary
born
Lou
yet.
Griffin, whoever that is. Sorry, I'm trying to find out.
He's a fan of Family Guy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yay.
So besides you mentioned American Graffiti, what else has George Lucas done that I would know?
I don't know off the top of my head. I want to say it was more
It's not
It's not a
That's
fucking site.
Production, help, co-writing.
I know
Yeah.
he's done a lot of other like don't want to say like background things, but like
No, like
Like
we
you
mentioned, he
mentioned,
helped Spielberg with the law. He helped
Mhm.
Spielberg with Indy. He helped Spielberg for a lot of
Pretty
other
much
projects as
producer-y.
well.
yeah, like I
His
know that,
producer,
but like
co-writer type of things were more, other than, but the main ones obviously Star Wars and American Graffiti was the first one, obviously, and then it went to Star Wars. Other than that,
Are you
like,
on the? Oh,
more
you're
of a
on the.
co-writer,
Just click
producer?
on George Lucas at the top.
continue.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I would agree that most of it is like background stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's behind the scenes kind of guy.
I'm sure he's had some in betweeners, but like nothing that I could like throw
Yeah,
out there
Indiana
that
Jones.
knowledgeable about. Yeah, so.
Yeah. While we're talking about,
He
I think
didn't
it's-
direct
Right
Indiana.
there. Right there.
I know we didn't say the director.
Oh no, we're reading. We're talking. We're having our own thing here.
that interview that like news reporter's doing,
Mhm.
and he just kind of walks in the background behind him.
Oh yeah,
No one knows who he
Nobody
is.
knows. He's just there.
Just
Howard the
check your
Duck.
shirt,
Howard the
New
Duck.
Balances.
just George being like.
The
And
See,
he just looks
guys?
like, "Oh, go for it."
Howard the Duck.
Oh,
There you go.
fuck,
That,
there you
that
go.
old classic.
Well, that old-
Apparently, Land Before Time.
And Land
too,
Before
which I
Time.
didn't know that.
Oh,
I
shit.
didn't know
Two
about that.
or
Which one?
First one.
The first one?
Mm.
So you've broken my heart twice, George. You son of a bitch.
How dare you?
And then we will eventually be doing those too.
Ugh,
The Land Before Times.
fuck.
There's like 8 of them.
Oh, there's like 11 of them.
yeah,
there's like a
There's so
ton.
many.
So for my birthday pick, that was
Oh,
one of the things that I thought about, but I didn't want a bunch of people to cry.
September's already a tough month. You know that.
September 11th.
Yeah, that's
How
it.
dare you?
Never forget.
I don't think I've seen any other movie he's done
Oh, here, let me
besides
see.
the
She-
Star Wars
she got
movies. Sorry, I'm
It's
just
mostly Star Wars, Indiana Jones, American Graffiti, Willow,
Beverly Hills Cop 3?
Strange Magic. If you haven't seen Strange Magic, I implore you to take a watch.
Is
That's
that the
pretty terrible?
Nicole Kidman one?
It's a no. It's a
Oh, that's Practical
no,
Practical
that's
Magic.
Practical Magic.
No, this is animated. It's
Oh.
pretty rough. I'll just leave it at that.
Mhm.
Anyway, I just wanted to mention him, and then we also have not mentioned the one and only. I'm surprised we haven't even mentioned it. John Williams.
Oh, well, no, we mentioned it.
We mentioned
Last
music.
episode.
I think we mentioned the movie, but we didn't. I don't think we mentioned specifically by name.
Mm.
But we should specifically mention John Williams. Incredible composer.
Yeah.
He did every movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, every
Nah.
movie.
No.
Danny Elfman.
No, I don't
That's a
know.
That's a family.
I know that he did it once, and then they've reused it and recomposed it and to put it into different parts.
Yeah.
But he's done every. He's like the soundtrack to your childhood, and you don't even know it.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Oh, we know it now.
Yeah, because it's a lot of George Lucas, Steven Spielberg,
Hans.
the guy who did Home Alone.
Oh shit.
think
Oh,
his
John
name.
Hughes?
Yeah, no, the other one.
Oh, Christopher Columbus?
Yes,
I was thinking
Chris
writer.
Columbus stuff.
Christopher Columbus.
Christopher
It's like
Columbus.
The guy that discovered
explorer?
America? Yes, he's that old.
Yes, him.
John Williams.
Yeah.
He's that
What
old.
a
But John
guy, man.
Williams is great.
Battle of the Heroes. That theme. It's probably my favorite Star Wars theme. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's my favorite.
Oh my
How's it go?
God. Joseph during that scene. What was it?
Oh my,
I don't want
Joseph
to
was
fuck
the
around.
highlight.
Yeah,
my God,
Joseph
dude.
during that scene,
Shadow
and you just
boxing,
like,
man. Shadow boxing. I fucking love. That is my favorite lightsaber duel of all time, hands down for me. That's the stakes, the music, where they're at, knowing that that's going to be where Vader's base is going to be, knowing that these
base
two
of his
brothers
body.
have to either kill each other or something's got to happen. Like the stakes are so fucking high at that scene. And then that fucking music is going at the same time, and then you throw in fucking Duel of the Fates in between there. I'm like, you fucking John Williams was on one, dude. Motherfucker was cooking. He was cooking something special, and I will always be appreciative of that motherfucker for that soundtrack for the rest of the Battle of the Heroes is
he's just in
what
the
a
studio
song,
like,
man.
wait there. Take a look at
Hell
this
yeah,
one.
man.
Ha.
That motherfucker was on. Dude, it's so fucking epic. It's
Oh.
We all stopped watching the movie just to like look down the row at you, and you were just.
dude, I fucking that duel.
I know when it
God.
was happening because I know Joseph loves that scene,
Mm-hmm.
and then I think I turned around to like grab a drink, and then I just look, and then I was like, Marissa, look at Joseph, and it's just him,
And he's
and
just
he's
like
not.
in
And
the
I've
zone.
seen it like a billion
Yeah.
times. It's not like it's my first time seeing it, but just watching it in a theater with the fucking speakers just blaring. I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah, dude.
oh, this is beautiful to me. I'm like, this is what I've always wanted. This is what I wanted to see when I was a kid. Seeing it now, still like super joyous, just having the great time, knowing just what's gonna happen, knowing where this is gonna end up at. I didn't care. I was just like, I'm in, dude. I can get past the cringy ass dialogue before the fight starts, but as soon as he does the flip and they're just like boom, 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 fuck, I'm in.
I think
And
like
Yoda Palpatine's just like, okay, whatever, dude. Especially just Yoda being like, I lost. I must go into hiding. Like, fuck off, green dude. Like, just
Jump around like a little
just jump-
frog.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, get out of here. I failed. Exile, I must go.
I also noticed like when we were watching it in theaters is every time like you were excited about a scene or anything, you just lean forward and just slowly like trying to get as close as you possibly can to the screen.
When they went to Organa's ship, when they got real white, we're just like, oh, God.
Oh, dude.
Oh,
That
every
was
time
really
it was
like,
super.
Yeah, just getting real life flashbanged. It was
It just,
I think every time they did that, you made like a noise. We were like,
super good.
I know we mentioned cringy dialogues multiple times. I want to give a shout out to my favorite cringy dialogue only because Joseph and I like to make fun of it all the time. And it's when our favorite heroine, Padme, goes up to Anakin and she's like, hold me like you did in Naboo. I always like to make fun of that. I always tell Joseph when I'm having a bad day, like, hold me like you did in Naboo.
liar! You're with him!
That's exactly what he does to me.
It's gonna be so loud in post. Oh, dude.
oh. Go up early and do the baby's room right by the gardens.
Yeah.
Padme, you fucking went from being queen to.
I mean, I guess she downgraded when she was no longer a queen.
Yeah,
she became a
she
simp.
didn't want to be queen anymore.
Yeah.
She'd rather.
I thought she could only be queen for 2 years.
Yeah, I thought it was only for 2 years, and then
I think she reached her age limit.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was the thing. I think
yeah,
it's
she
like,
turned
what,
25, and
And
Leo
then
was
she was
like,
like,
"Get
"What?"
her out!"
Seriously.
I want to be in the Senate where I can make a real difference. Yeah, okay, toots. Why don't you go? Yeah.
Hey, why don't you calm down? We'll give
This is
Jar
a-
Jar your job.
Somehow Jar Jar's a Senate. You
Oh,
proved all this.
You's a lady, you know.
You said Dodo.
No place for.
You's a big doo-doo.
Dude, if I was at the funeral and I saw Jar Jar, I would be like, you did this, you son of a bitch.
You would have went. Just a red lightsaber.
Red light, yeah, yellow eyes.
Yeah.
How did Jar Jar go from being such a bumbling buffoon
To a
to a
senator.
fucking senator?
They-
How did this happen?
Didn't Padme give him the power to become the center because
Well,
she
that's-
couldn't.
Which, like, honestly shows how fucking dumb Padme is.
Yeah,
100%.
100%.
How old is she supposed to be in
100%.
this movie? Like 14? She already pregnant?
no,
She had her first period and then immediately got pregnant?
She's 27 in Revenge.
Yes.
damn quick math. I
Quick
think,
maths.
I think honestly, I think one of my, and I know, biggest like downgrade for the Star Wars prequels. I don't really like Princess Leia. I would consider her to be a better like female character than Padme is. Like at least like she's out doing things, and I feel like with Padme she's just meh.
But
And
Padme in season
But
one,
she
like,
did.
she was
but
good. She was
in the
shooting
first one.
guns
She
and
was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like as she falls in love and
She gets dumb. She falls into that trope of, like,
she got digged
women
down and
who
she
are
becomes
like,
stupid.
oh,
Yeah.
I love him.
She's in the honeymoon
He can't do
phase.
anything
No, he
wrong.
can't.
And then it finally, like, takes her, like, and then the hormones take over, and she's like, you're going to bed. I can't follow, and I don't know what to do, and I got these babies, and I can't sleep, and I'm hungry, and I want sushi.
And all she can have is blue milk. Or
It's probably
something.
not good for the babies.
Probably definitely not good for the baby.
Definitely not good for the babies. And also, like, you're telling me that little bump had twins? Like, when they pull out those two babies, I'm like, there's no fucking way she had two of those inside that belly. The belly's so tiny. No way. False, George Lucas.
I feel like her belly was inconsistent throughout the entire movie.
Yeah.
And maybe it was like the outfits
Guys,
that
it's
she
the
wore.
balance of the
And how did
force.
her boobs get smaller? Usually in pregnancy, they get bigger. What up, Natalie Portman?
She's
Her hair got bigger, too.
She was great in Heat.
Wasn't
In-
she a
in
child?
Yeah.
Heat?
Yeah.
I don't think oh, no, I haven't seen Heat.
No.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I've seen Leon,
Yeah, she was also a child in that too.
and she's still acting the same.
Yeah.
Except for in Black Swan.
I was gonna say
Swan was good.
I've seen
Yeah.
clips of that. I've never seen that all the way
Black
through.
Swan.
It's actually solid.
I heard
Actually,
that
I'll
it's
give it to
pretty
her.
good.
I actually liked her. I like her in comedies. I really like her in Your Highness for some
I
reason.
don't think I've ever seen that one.
Oh, we started it. You guys gave up on it.
Well, it was like 3 a.m.
Oh, is that the one that we put that one time and then we like stopped halfway through?
Yeah.
Because it was 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Should have finished it.
It is good though.
Next time. We'll rent it again.
Just buy it.
Never triangle face. Triangle face scares me.
Triangle face scares me.
Yeah.
Are we forgetting anybody else that we should be mentioning in this? I feel like we touched on all the characters.
Yeah.
right?
No, we touched on pretty much everybody
Yep.
of importance.
Mm-hmm.
I do appreciate that Hayden Christensen is getting his flowers. Finally.
Mhm.
For a while.
After a while.
Yep.
Flowers?
Like his appreciation.
Oh, I was like, getting his flowers.
That's what the kids say.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what they say?
They say, yeah.
No, I don't. I'm so not.
Yeah.
They're getting their flowers. It only took him 20 years.
Yeah. Is dialogue cringy and
Mhm.
bad? Yes, because they are at an age where that's what they would be talking about.
Well, that and it's also he didn't do the writing.
He didn't do the writing, but he did do the acting,
Mhm.
and that was how he was
He
directed to
interpreted
act.
the writing of
And I feel like the more that you look back on it, I still feel that way, that it is played well. He's a little whiny
He
bitch.
seems like a nice guy.
He seems like a super
He seems
nice
super
guy.
chill.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind talking to him.
yeah. Accosting him in public.
I probably wouldn't accost him in public. But
Hey, and he'd be like, "Oh Jesus!"
I feel like he was in another like really bad movie, not Star Wars related, and I can't remember what it is. It's not Jump. Is it Jumper?
It's Jumper.
It is.
Is it
Yeah.
Jumper?
It is.
The one with Rachel
Bison?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it is that
Bison?
one.
Yeah,
That's
Bison.
that movie.
His ex-girlfriend.
It's where he has like the
Yeah.
ability to jump.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
That's
was
literally
like,
Is,
it.
it,
yeah,
is
I was
Chris
like-
Evans in that one, or is that Pusher? Or
Pusher.
Push?
Pusher's
Chris
Chris
Evans.
Evans.
Or
Yeah.
Push. I mean.
Where he is able to push.
Push,
Yeah,
yeah,
so
yeah.
he's
So we
able
got a
to-
jumper.
Some
We
of
got
these
Pusher to get a
movies.
jumper. Something like that.
Some of these movies.
Oh no, it's the one where he's selling drugs, right?
No, that's the one where they're trying to take the,
Oh, that's Superfly.
trying to keep the friend from
Superfly.
jumping off the ledge.
Mhm.
Does anyone have anything else for Star Wars Episode 3?
I don't got nothing.
Going once?
I mean, he was his brother.
He was supposed to bring balance to the Force.
I didn't really see them as like brothers.
I I did.
I saw him more of like a father figure.
Weird uncle.
Yeah, or the weird uncle that lets him drink.
Not even, because he's just like driving the little car down, and he's like, "Oh, I hate when you do that.
Yeah,
Hate when you do giant uncle phase."
I think they bicker like siblings.
yeah.
More
They're
than
like the
father
odd
and son.
couple.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, very odd couple.
Mm-hmm.
Very loving.
He did. He loved him.
Yeah, he loved him.
Loved him like a brother.
He was supposed to be the chosen one.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
He was
So
supposed
to bring balance to the force.
He was supposed to destroy the Sith, not join them.
Ugh. Was he? Did we ever say that? Where in the writing does it say that?
Well, it's like Mace Windu said, or Yoda said maybe the chosen one was read wrong. Or was it? I guess we'll find out.
It wasn't that time yet.
Mhm.
I liked it. Who was it? Was that you that said that it was very, like, you said you hated to compare it, but it's very much like Twilight, where like it was like an imprinting thing where he's like, he sensed it, but it wasn't quite there yet.
I've been
Needed to
sitting on it
cook
for a
another
week. After I
generation.
said it, I was like, I said that, and people are gonna be like, what the fuck? But then it's like, I mean, it is. Yeah, it's imprinted on it.
Yeah.
The
Prophecy never said when.
yeah, never said when, but
Never
it
said
said
when.
it said a time.
Said
and,
what happened,
and,
just
and
never
a child.
said. Yeah.
Or
It just never said it when.
Yeah.
How?
It was the porks. The porks brought
Guess we'll
balance to
get
the
there.
Force.
Wasn't even Luke.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, these are, yeah.
Guess we'll get there. We'll get there.
We'll get there when we get
Who
there.
was it? I don't know.
It's a fun
It's
question.
Mace Windu.
It was Mace Windu all along.
Force Ghost Mace Windu?
Or is
Yeah,
he a
how come
ghost?
he didn't get a force
Or is he dead?
force
Who
ghost?
knows? Does anybody die in Star
It's
Wars?
because he's not dead.
It's not dead yet.
Does anybody ever die in Star Wars?
I want to say well, I've heard that they're thinking.
There's
about-
been rumblings.
there's
So
been-
wait, did Padme come back?
No, Padme.
No, she did.
She did.
How
She
come
did.
she didn't get a force ghost?
Because Palpatine took everything.
She's not force sensitive.
He sucked
She's
the
not in
life out
tune
of
And
her.
with
she's
the
not.
Force.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And she just and then you flash back and she just looks like that girl in the closet from The Ring. Just
Fuck. I mean, in the Vader comics, kind of. Yeah, that's what it is.
oh fuck, really?
She haunts him as
She
Vader.
hunts Vader?
Yes, of course. Yeah. He even goes to
Son of a
Naboo
bitch.
to
Oh my
see her
God, I would
grave,
love
and he sees
that.
her all like fucked
Like
up.
Sydney's mom in
Yeah.
Scream 3, just
Burnt.
like I'm here,
Yeah, he gets haunted for. That's what. Yeah. Yeah. We'll get to
as
it.
he should be.
We'll
He
get to
killed
it.
her.
Yeah.
He killed her.
Should we rate this bad boy?
Mm.
I know you were trying to drive that bus there.
Ryan, you go for it.
We have so many complaints.
I have some complaints, and it's all like dialogue and acting and direction and
Mhm.
Everything George Lucas.
how you're going about telling the story throughout the
Before it
whole
goes down.
series. It
Smush it.
it all kind of mushes into one thing.
I'm so sorry.
Did you have something to say?
Did you?
We'll save it for 7.
In an overarching story that is Star Wars, this movie is higher up than other ones, I would say. I would give this a 4. Strong 3.5 to a 4.
I like it.
I say 4.
Let's switch it up. Marissa,
3.
anything else or just a 3?
Nah, the people know where I lie.
I know my truth.
I know my truth.
I like it. Joseph?
2's where it's at.
A 4.5. I love this movie. It is. I'm not
Damn!
saying it's the best Star Wars movie. It's my favorite Star Wars movie. Obviously, I know what the best one is. I won't go to it, but my favorite is Revenge of the Sith. I've watched it so many damn times. This movie just. I don't know. I kind of just like when the bad guys kind of win at the end. I don't know. It just adds to me for the original trilogy. As I said in the last episode, when I introduced her to Star Wars, we went from 3 to 4, 5, 6. Yeah.
Whoa. You did 3, 4, 5, 6?
I didn't watch 1 or 2 for a
Yeah.
very long time.
Yeah.
I've only seen 1 and 2 maybe like twice in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's wild.
it tracks.
And yeah, so I'm at a 4.5.
Okay.
I do have one more question for the group after Mooney gives her rating, scoring. There.
This is the first Star Wars movie I've ever watched, as Joseph mentioned 30 seconds ago. I think it intrigued me in a way, but also I really didn't care for it the first time I watched it. I didn't really appreciate 3 until I watched everything else. It is not my favorite Star Wars film. It is my favorite of the prequels. It's in my top 3 favorite Star Wars films.
Out of 3.
Of like the 15 million movies there is at this point. Yeah. I'm gonna give this one a 3.5. I would give it a 4 if the dialogue was better. If Padme was a stronger character, and honestly, if I really understood what that fucking space opera they were watching, I was very confused. I just thought they were watching Bubbles.
Oh,
That's pretty sick.
Maybe
as
that's
it
what they
is.
do in the future. They just get super high and watch Bubbles.
Honestly, that's what I pictured they were doing. They were all stoned out of their mind watching Bubbles.
Hell yeah.
If you guys are watching Andor, they did bring it back to the fucking space operas.
Did they really?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
That's
It's
when
still a thing. Yeah.
High
need to
watching
watch that.
Bubbles.
All right, now that we've all given our rating, I know I was going. Marissa, what's your question?
Your host.
I don't know. I was like,
Damn.
what's your question?
Chill, babe.
So now that we've kind of gone through 1, 2, and 3, pretty much. I'm gonna do this for every 3 because obviously
Every trilogy?
every George Lucas has a thing with 3s. Threesome. My question for specifically this trilogy is there a character that you find that you relate to?
Anakin.
Jar Jar. I love Jar. I don't know why people hate Jar Jar. I love Jar
We
Jar.
hate Jar Jar.
He's a Sith Lord.
He's so annoying.
Maybe that's why I love him more. Maybe I think I would love Jar Jar more. If
Why
he
do you
became
think they
evil.
kicked him out of the village?
Because they didn't understand Jar Jar.
He's annoying.
He was conspiring again with the Sith.
And then the way he ended up becoming like just a circus clown in the town. And yeah, that's where his story ends.
That's true. Obi-Wan. I relate to.
Every time I wear this shirt and somebody mentions Obi-Wan, I think of the, oh my god, what's that song that you play? Soon I'll be a Jedi.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
That doesn't make me think of Anakin. This your Anakin guy.
Long time
That one
ago.
too. Now it's just gonna play in my head.
Pie.
You're so
I
welcome,
love it.
Marissa.
Oh, Qui-Gon, because he did.
Do you just want? Damn, that's morbid.
He did.
That's morbid.
I say he did.
And guess what? He will find you.
He hasn't taken me yet.
Yeah.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
Anyone
Anyway.
have anything else for the Star Wars trilogy? Prequel trilogy.
That's all I got to say about this Star Wars.
Don't worry, we'll get into the other Star Wars
Sagas.
Mm-hmm.
next time.
With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys are enjoying our Star Wars month. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And as we mentioned in the beginning, if you want to see our recap of episode 1 and 2, watch last week's episode. And may the force be with you.
Ooh, nice.
Hayden, if you're still watching, you can be our friend.
I'll be your friend, Hayden.
Oh,
Whoa.
I just want to be his friend.
I want crispy Hayden.
just his friend.
Joseph wants crispy Hayden. But
Crunchy.
bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. Until next time, the podcast, a show so sublime. Marissa, Mooney, Joseph, and Ryan signing off with glee. Join us next episode for more sequel revelry.